Hey there, good evening, and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today is Ben's album challenge, which comes out on Sunday nights, and I know it's going to be very late tonight. I didn't get in till very late. I had some stuff I was doing involved with some people, and it got longer than you would have imagined. Anyways, I came home, did some stuff, and then I was listening to the album, and now I'm going to present what I found. Okay, so this album that Ben gave me this week is from a band called Purson, which I believe came out in, the album itself I think came out in 2013. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody knows, but I think that's what it was. The album is called The Circle and the Blue Door. It's their first studio album, I believe. So they have 13 tracks on this album. I had never heard of this band before. Didn't know anything about them. Wasn't even sure what I was listening to at first. So after I'd listened to it for a while, I discovered the female vocalist is very kind of... she's got a kind of a different voice. I don't know how to describe it. I'm really not pegged her voice too well. It's definitely a female voice. Like she is in that range. She's high at points. She can be subdued at points, but very kind of harsh at other points as well. The overall feel of the album is very kind of, it's progressive in nature, but has, I would say, quite a bit of psychedelic edge to it. Like a lot. I wouldn't say it's overly psychedelic, but it definitely has a psychedelic edge to it. And there's some quirky noises that you hear throughout the album as well. Guitar is very good. A lot of catchy riffs, a lot of riffing. He does do some solos, but they're almost psychedelic in nature. It's very different. A couple of them kind of remind me of Hendrix a bit. Anyways, overall I like this album quite a bit. Sorry, I put my notes just a little bit behind the desk so I can't quite see them properly. Yeah, so I like the band a lot. This album I would definitely want to own. Sorry. Very good, and it's very late. Yeah, so like lots of like really good psychedelic sound to their album. So the first song is called Wake Up Sleepy Head, which probably applies to me right now. So it's a bit of a calm, mellow song. I wouldn't say it was like strongly psychedelic, but it has a little bit of a psychedelic edge to it. The female vocals are really good on this, and the keyboards are very atmospheric, creating that kind of mellow feeling to the song. It's probably the song I like the least on the album, though. Generally, I don't do... Sorry, supper's trying to make an escape here. Generally, I don't... Yeah, generally I don't say there's a song I like the least, but in this case, it's not a bad song. It's probably my least favorite on the album. So then you got the next song is called Contact, a nice keyboard kind of bass opening. It's very kind of mellow sounding. Then it gets progressive throughout the middle section of the album, of this song. Some heavy guitar parts here, and that heavy well, they got this continuous melody that goes throughout the song. It actually goes throughout this song comes to an end, and then it goes throughout a little bit throughout the other song as well. Some of those very similar melody. The Spider and the Farm. Yeah, it's kind of a heavier song. I really like the drum part on this. It opens with this drum part. I don't know how you would want to describe it. Then it gets some real heavy guitar riffing and soloing. Some nice synthesizer keyboard parts on this particular track. And the vocals are very strong. Her vocals throughout the album are fairly strong. I think the most dominating effect on this album is that it's a female-led, dominated vocal album and very heavy psychedelic guitar riffing and soloing. Those are the two big factors. There also, the synthesizer plays more of an atmospheric part on this, creating that kind of eerie, kind of psychedelic feeling that you get from that you can get out of keyboards and synthesizers, but the synthesizer is definitely that here. The next song up, Sailor's Wife, Lament. This one has a kind of a vaudeville opening. I don't know how to describe it any other way than feels like there's like some vaudeville noises and sounds going on here. And then there's a kind of a sea background going on as well at the same time. So it's almost like maybe a vaudeville show or a vaudeville area on a beach or something like that. That's what it feels like. Very subdued vocals. Yeah, just an overall a very vaudeville sound to the music. I've not actually heard anything quite like this before. And I liked it. It was probably one of the 2 or 3 favorite tracks on the album. The next song, Leaning on the Bear, it's kind of a different title. Heavy guitar riffing here, lots of catchy beats, fairly up-tempo song. Vocals are strong again. It kind of ends with a kind of distortion, heavy distortion on the guitar part. It actually goes almost throughout the entire production, this distortion. It seems to be affecting the vocals, the bass, the drums, the guitars, and everything. It's kind of an interesting tune, though. I've not heard anything quite like this before. Tempest in the Tide. This has a kind of an acoustic guitar opening anyways, with some keyboard melodies thrown in there. Then you have you got some more keyboard and synthesizer parts throughout the middle, and it builds up to this final kind of subdued part. It's kind of a different song too. Yeah, it was a little, I didn't like this one quite as much as some of the other tracks. Then you got the Mavericks and the Mystics. This is probably my favorite track on the album. I gave it an 8, so by number wise, it definitely is my favorite track on the album. The vocals are almost piercing on this song, which is different than she does on a lot of other songs. Heavy guitar riff with this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it almost a surreal sound. And it ends with this kind of an odd part to it. But I like this tune a lot. It's real catchy. It's a catchy song. Then you get the Well-Spoiled Machine, another good track. Vocals are pretty clear on this track. You don't get as much of that. It's a lot of distortion in the vocals during the whole album is kind of distorted. You get that same feel. But here the vocals are clear and almost a folky sound to the music here. There's a little bit of folkiness to her voice on this. Catchy riff. Some strong progressive parts on this particular song, and it gets much heavier towards the end of the song. Okay, so there's only the 3 tracks left. Sapphire Ward, which is another heavy track. Some ripping guitars here and beat. The vocals are strong. Yeah, this is the song that the guitar soloing, which is a little past halfway, a little more, maybe 2/3 the way through. Sorry. Solo is very distorted and very Hendrix-like. It sounds like something that you would hear on a Hendrix album, definitely. Then you got, I don't even know what I wrote here. It looks like Rushing Horse or Rusking Horse. I can't make out what I wrote. I apologize. I will never win the award for best handwriting. Certainly not from here, anyways. This is a bit of a creepy song. Creepy in the sense that the keyboards make it kind of eerie. There's kind of an eerie, creepy feel to it. The guitar opening is adds to that kind of atmosphere, and the vocal atmosphere is very similar. So they all play into this sound. Overall it's probably a heavier guitar sound and a heavier vocal overall, but a very creepy song. I didn't really care much for it. It just was a bit unsettling. The last song I didn't even rate. It's definitely a psychedelic guitar part that starts this song off. You got a very psychedelic melody throughout the song, with some heavy riffing again. So it's a very, very, probably the most psychedelic track on it. So overall, I would say this is mostly psychedelic, with some kind of odd vaudeville sounds that you get throughout this. On one particular track had a lot of that. It was actually my favorite. I think it's my favorite track, wasn't it? Yes. No, it wasn't. It was the track before. What was it? The track before? Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. So a few tracks back. Sailors and the Lament. Yeah, so you get quite a bit of these little vaudeville parts. Some at the beginning, some at the end. And you get little bits and pieces of them throughout the album. Strong album though. Like the guitar riffing, the catchiness of the beats are really, really interesting. It's definitely a band, if you were into that psychedelic progressive kind of sound from the late 60s, early 70s, and you like female vocals, and you like the distorted part that you get in this kind of Hendrix type stuff on Are You Experienced and stuff, you'll like this stuff a lot. I actually like this quite a bit. Definitely an album I will put on my list to be looking for. And I believe, I don't know much about this band, but I think they have, if they've got the one and this one, which is 2013, I think there might be another one too. I didn't really look them up, so I'm not sure. I remember seeing something when I was playing it, but I can't remember what it was. Anyways, excellent album. Another good choice by Ben. I hope he enjoys this video, and I do apologize again for the lateness. This is going to come out very late than normal, but better late than never, right? That's what they always say. I don't know if that's true or not, but I managed only to yawn twice, which is difficult because I'm very tired. Anyways, I enjoyed this listen and this video. I definitely will be looking for this album, hopefully to purchase it if I'm able to, or find it somewhere. So anyways, I hope you have a good night. Please like and subscribe, and we'll be back again tomorrow night for Monday night look back at a classic rock album, which this week, as you all know, will feature this one, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe. So take care and goodbye.